colleagues for successfully getting this transportation bill to conference. First and foremost, we must determine the overall funding levels. According to DOT, there's a $1 trillion backlog of needs on highways, bridges, transit, and rail that keeps growing, and neither bill does much to address it. The House bill provides flat funding of just $325 billion over 6 years, and the Senate bill is not much better. Everyone wants a long-term bill for reliability and planning, but is that still the preferable option if we are locking in 6 years of flat or minimal funding? Perhaps a 4 or 5 year bill at higher funding levels would be the better course of action. With regard to policy provisions, I am very proud of the freight program that we have created in the House bill, which would provide guaranteed dedicated funding for large-scale multimodal freight projects that are critical for our regional and national economy. There are a number of transit issues that must be addressed in order for several conferees to support the final package. An amendment offered on the House floor eliminated the high-density state apportionments under Transit Section 5340 in order to provide even more funding for the Bus and Bus Facilities Grant Program. I would like to note that although the amendment passed by voice vote, it is not, to put it mildly, without controversy. Section 5340 provides critical funding for communities all around highly transit-dependent states. Cutting Section 5340 would devastate transit service not only in New York and in Syracuse, but also in places like Aberdeen, Maryland, Nashua, New Hampshire, and Allentown, Pennsylvania. APTA and almost the entire bipartisan delegations of New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Delaware, Rhode Island, New York, and Maryland urge conferees to recede to the Senate and reject these harmful cuts to Section 5340. It should go without saying that in an environment where funding is limited, you simply cannot make drastic changes in state allocations and cut funding so deeply in communities around the country. It is not fair, it is not sound economic policy, and it will jeopardize the prospect of the bill's passage. New starts should be treated equally to other transit projects, and we must carefully manage provisions relating to motor carrier safety and environmental streamlining. Finally, there is a bipartisan effort underway, which I very much support, to include the 9/11 Health and Compensation Program in the final conference report. Congress must act to reauthorize these programs before the end of the year. Legislation to permanently reauthorize them already has 248 co-sponsors in the House and a filibuster-proof 65 co-sponsors in the Senate. Attaching this reauthorization now would ensure the programs do not close their doors on responders and survivors. So I urge their inclusion. I urge the recession of Section 5340 to the Senate version of the bill, and I thank you and yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Nadler. Now go to Mr. Gibbs.